City.
Judge Christina Peterson,
Legal,
who is running for re-election and is on the ballot for May.
Well, you don't want to miss it.
This is Judge Christina J Peterson, and I cannot wait to join you all right here on my city.
Let me tell you, when they step up in the building, they already says, Coach, we gonna set it off. Setting it off, let's go.
When I pull up, I'ma set this thing off. Set this thing off, I'ma set this thing off, yeah.
My city.
I put on for my city, I put on for my...
I'm Ingrid Landis Davis, and I'm honored to be here to have a conversation with our incumbent probate judge, Judge Christina J Peterson, who is running for re-election. And you can vote for her right now during this early voting period, and then May 21st is our final day of voting. So come on out and vote. Let's talk to her about some of the challenges that she has been faced with since she started the first, and I do mean the very first, probate court in Douglas County.
Ooh, I'm here. I got it. I'm here for you for all your questions. What are we doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Judge Peterson, we know kind of the story because it's been all over Fox 5 with Randy Travis. We know the side of the story that Randy's willing to tell.
Okay.
A lot of people have been on social media, people such as Linda Cripp and the Uncensored Douglas County Civic Watch Group. They've been saying stuff like you have serious ethics issues and is most likely to be removed from your seat by the Supreme Court, and that you're under GBI investigations and these type of things. Now, we know a lot of this was put up from the day you swore in.
That's right.
You had even the chief Superior Court judge coming against you.
Yes.
In fact, I believe he was the one who actually filed the Judicial Qualification Committee complaint initially. Is that correct?
Yes, he filed a lot of them, actually. There were several that he filed, and I am under the belief that he also got other people to file complaints.
And I know I filed some complaints against this particular judge.
Okay.
I did file a Judicial Qualification Committee complaint. I didn't hear a word from them for months until Randy Travis contacted me about something about you. And I said, well, what about my complaint that I filed against the chief judge? And so when he went to look into it, the very next day, within 24 hours, I received an email from them saying that my complaint had been dismissed. They had looked into it, and my complaint had been dismissed. They never called me. I submitted all kinds of evidence. They never called me or anything. And then I got a certified letter like a few days later saying that it was dismissed. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that the JQC is just another oversight board that's filled with appointees by the Republican governor, and that is slanted. They go after who they want to go after. It's very seldom a non-political situation.
Well, in my experience dealing with the JQC, I have also voiced my opinion that I feel like it's been slanted. I don't know if it's on the lines of political party. I don't know whether it's gender. Some people have thought it was race-based, but I don't know what it is. All I know that it is selective prosecution. To be a respected agency, to be a respected judge, judicial system, commission, you have to prosecute equally. It has to be equal justice. But I have noticed that I have been charged or allegations made towards me in which this agency has misconstrued the facts or changed the fact and to make it appear egregious in order to substantiate that complaint against me. In my experience during my 4-year term, I have had all of these complaints against me. They have all been pursued by the JQC. But since I have been a target of an attack, I have had judges be impartial against me or biased. And I have also filed complaints against these judges, which the JQC will not consider. I believe there's a case, I don't know if it's currently pending, but there has been some attorneys suing the State Bar of Georgia because they feel like that agency is selectively prosecuting certain attorneys based on race. That's what they were alleging. So I don't know if there's something similar going on, but I do know of substantial complaints that have been submitted to the JQC with evidence, documentation, not suspecting of, we suspect a crime like they put of me, or we suspect she's doing something wrong. It's evidence in writing that there's been a violation of some law or policy that the JQC is not picking up. And I find that very discouraging. It doesn't allow for the public to trust this process.
nationally from the Supreme Court down to these commissions that are oversight commissions, we really have to look at the fact that they're leaning very, very much towards the right and very, very much towards ruling in favor of those kind of convictions and policies. It makes it hard to trust what they're doing.
Well, and I think when the agencies are created, they shouldn't be leaning to the right. They should be doing what's right. So
Exactly.
that's the problem. It shouldn't be a leaning. It should be politically based or politically challenged. You should be making decisions. You should be overseeing the judges or the attorneys, helping them become better attorneys and answering their ethical questions and things like that. You should be doing that without considering what their political party is or their age or what generation they've come from or their race or their gender. It should be totally to protect the integrity of the judiciary by making sure all the judges have equal opportunity to get their ethics questions asked and answered. One of the complaints against me by the JQC is I asked a question to them. Simply, I used to serve as the Adoptive and Foster Parent Association of Georgia Region 3 Vice President, and that's of Douglas County and the neighboring counties.
Yes, I remember the little
Yeah,
baby that you raised up.
I've
foster
had
baby.
10 children in 10 years, but one child I had for 2 years, and that's the one you remember. When I became a judge, I was asking the JQC if it was proper for me to serve in this capacity as the vice president of that AFPAC organization. All the judges are allowed to ask questions, ethics questions of the JQC. Well, instead of them answering my ethics question, the JQC turned it into a complaint against me. So they initiated their own complaint saying that I was a liar because I asked them, I said, hey, is it okay for me to serve on this organization? I said, we were at a training. I asked the judges in the training, is it okay for me to serve? There was no issue there. I just want to know your opinion because you're the final say so. Well, they came back with, we talked to the person at the training. They said they never said that. You're a liar. We're going to make a complaint against you. I felt that very disingenuous, and I also felt that it was unnecessary. To this day, I still haven't gotten the answer to that question. So it kind of made me hesitant about asking any other questions, which I should have a right to, but that's what makes that process seem a little disingenuous.
Speaking of trying to make the judicial system better, tell us about the accomplishments that you have achieved in creating a brand new court for Douglas County for the probate court, because what happened is the population of Douglas County grew
That's
to
right.
where it had to have an attorney as a judge and run the court. Previously, for many years, the person running the probate office was not an attorney and it was not a court, it was just an office.
Right. So this will actually be, it's a fun fact, this will actually be the second court that I have established or was instrumental in establishing in Douglas County. The first court was in 2015, in which I helped Judge McClain establish the first felony drug court in the Superior
The
Court of
accountability
Douglas.
court.
That's right. That was the first. That was my help as the Assistant District Attorney of Douglas County. This is by myself, this is the first time I had to establish a court. This is an Article 6 probate court, which is a full jurisdiction probate court that I had to establish upon election. A lot of people don't understand that the county was operating as a probate court, but it didn't have all the jurisdiction. I believe the prior judge, he didn't even go to court. He didn't even have a courtroom.
He didn't have a court.
No, he did not. So I think he used to have attorneys come in his office and they handle business or go to his conference room. That's what I hear. But he did not have a court.
Right.
And so I had to establish the actual court and make sure we're in compliance with the law and procedures. What a lot of people don't understand is I'm coming in, I have to learn all of this stuff at once. Wow.
And there was nobody to teach you because
Nope.
nobody in Douglas County knew anything about it.
Correct. Nobody was here to teach me, and I didn't make that anybody's issue, but I did reach out to people such as the chief judge at the time who refused to talk to me. I did reach out to the...
But she did say under oath at the JQC hearing, and he also said he couldn't tell you anything anyway because he didn't know anything about a probate court. Yet he had all of these complaints about the probate court procedures.
Right. Yeah. So you're talking about Judge Emerson. He was one of the ones that were instrumental in kind of speaking about the probate and what I didn't need, and I called it obstruction of my budget request and my salary negotiations and things like that, and telling the county board of commissioners what I needed, which if you're coming from a position of a chief judge, they would respect your opinion and think you know what you're talking about. But then in the trial, it was kind of interesting that he admitted, I don't know anything about that court. So now,
so I can't give her any advice.
Correct.
I couldn't give her any advice because I don't know anything about the court. But at the same time, he's interfering with your efforts to establish the court.
Wouldn't that be a violation of the judicial code? I'm just wondering.
I'm not an attorney.
Sounds like
so
a
I can't
violation.
speak on that.
Because when you talk about obstruct, one of the codes is to be able to work with other. So I received a complaint just saying I wasn't in agreement or I didn't communicate effectively with my peers and things like that. But I would say trying to obstruct what I'm doing, and you don't have any authority, nor do you have the knowledge of what's going in the probate, would seem similar. So that's kind of the questions that we had regarding proceedings surrounding the JQC. Yeah.
In the end, you established the court.
Yes.
You got it going. And then on top of that, you were named by Gabio. Tell me the organization.
It's the Georgia Association of Black County Officials, GABCO. I was named Probate Judge of the Year in my first year of office. In 2022, I received the Clearance Excellence Award for resolving 100% of my caseload, and I am slated to get that award again for 2023. Absolutely. But that was only because effectively establishing my court, despite the hurdles that I was having to endure, not only by the chief judge at the time, but by the county administration, sometimes the board of commissioners, sometimes IT. You know, it was a lot of, sometimes the county attorney. These were the obstacles that I had to endure to establish this court. But my commitment is not to a chief judge. My commitment is to the citizens of Douglas County. I have to effectively and efficiently run this court. So by all means and by any means necessary, that's what I was going to do, and that's what I did. So we have been very effective. We changed the face of the office and the court. I mean, just from the aesthetics coming in, you walk in, you feel like you're in an office. Before it looked, I don't know what that office looked like before when I walked in.
It looked like where you come and pay your late light bill.
It was bad. It was bad, but you're dealing with my court handles.
Not that I would know.
Yeah. Well, my court handles probate matters and our full jurisdiction. So we do marriage licenses, we do birth certificates, death certificates, we do wills and estates, probate matters. You might have a family member who is physically or mentally incapacitated, so you want to get a guardianship or conservatorship. We also do guardianships and conservatorships of minors. This is not a place where you want to come in and the place looks bad to make you feel bad. Sometimes your surroundings can alleviate some of the pain or the distress. So if you're coming in a distressful situation, looking at some dirty chairs and dirty carpet and you're coughing because the bad air, you know, and the vents haven't been changed, and it's just it was a lot. I had to come in and do that because that's my duty to serve the citizens. So yes, some citizens had issues with, you needed a bigger budget. She was requesting a larger budget. Well, one, we're actually a court now. We're operating as a court and not an office.
Right.
And also there were things that were neglected from the prior administration.
Right.
And the prior administration, the prior clerks, they brought in their own computer chairs.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah. A lot of times the criticisms were coming from Republicans, and Republicans just basically are about not keeping up infrastructure, not keeping things up. What are you going to do with the money? Oh, you're not going to spend that money. The money is there to run the government. And so one of the problems I have with that philosophy is that they're not trying to govern. So I just want to say in closing, and unless you have some other things you want to discuss, maybe we can do this again, because I know there are some deeper issues about your opponent who's come at you all kind of sideways that we could discuss. But I'd like to end on a positive note, and I think it's very positive of what you've done with the court, how you have established it and built it, and it's excellent work. And
Well,
so,
I guess I can talk about just the one last thing about what I've done in my first term and my plans for my next term. So what I've done in the first term, like I had a 90-day plan when I came in office with, I had to do this, and I'm a good manager, and time management is an effective skill to have in this position. But what I have done is I went to a case management system that allows citizens of Douglas County and beyond to search any record of the probate that's public. You can search online, and you can go to douglascountyga.gov under the probate tab, and you can see all of this there. You can also start your marriage licenses and your applications and your weapons carry license applications online, which that wasn't there before. Also, when you do finish your weapons carry license application, you have to come into the court. We fingerprint you in office. The prior administration had you driving to Dallas, Georgia, which was not in Douglas County, about 30 minutes away to get your fingerprints. And that's a very heavy inconvenience on our citizens and residents. So that's what I established in office. We also have a kiosk in our office. If you want to do those applications online and don't have a computer, you're able to do that. We also do free weddings. We do a ceremony every month, once a month. And then we do big ceremonies throughout the year where we have receptions like Valentine's Day. We do one around Christmas and things like that. So, anybody who gets a marriage license in Douglas County will be able to participate and get married for free by myself. Well, by me. I conduct that ceremony. What I plan on doing in my next term, we're starting this now, but we're going to e-file. Superior Court and State Court and some magistrate courts allow e-file when you're filing petitions. And I think it's a great convenience to be able to do that in probate. Nobody wants to walk up to the probate office filing by hand. So we're going to e-file. We'll be there within the next 2 months. I'm also going where you can get your vital records online, so you don't have to come in the office for So but you will have to verify your identity and things like that. But we're making all of this available online. Marriage licenses, birth certificates, death certificates. You'll be able to get that online. We're in a new generation. We're in the 21st century. We're just getting the court up in advance to that. And while we're doing that, if you do want to come in my office, we have the best staff in Douglas County government.
I know you've sent your staff to trainings too.
That's right. I have completed the certification program, the probate certification. It takes 3 years. I completed mine successfully and on time, but I also am sending another 4 of my clerks through clerk certification so they can be trained on the probate court processes and procedures and do it. That was never done before me.
I know.
Yeah. So the judge was the only one before me who went to training, and his staff was just clerks without any knowledge unless he told them. So I want to make sure everybody is informed in my court, and we do the best job we possibly can. And I thank the citizens for the ones who have taken the time to actually come to my court and get to know me, speak to my staff, the positive things they have to say based on their firsthand knowledge and not what they heard somebody say. So I thank you all for your support and continued support and your prayers and your vote for this election, May 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to close by saying the future that the Democrats want is better than the past that the Republicans desire.
The Political Countdown.